back to Hashtag Single with Jeanette Bonner. I am not a relationship expert or sex therapist. I'm just a regular New York City woman navigating the world as a single, independent feminist. Hashtag Single is about having honest conversations with other singles in today's device-obsessed culture. So I hope you'll join me on this interesting, challenging, and complex journey as we navigate the ins and outs of singledom. Welcome back to Hashtag Single. I'm Jeanette Bonner, your host. How's everyone doing? Just checking in with you. I hope you're hanging in. This year has been a doozy for all of us, including myself. Really excited to share our guest expert with you this month. I have with me today Tammi Pickle, who is the VP partner of a family-owned matchmaking company called Elite Connections. Tammi, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me, Jeanette.
I'm going to read your bio just so people know a little bit more about you and you feel like a real person, even though you're just a voice in their heads. But feel free to chime in afterwards if I'm missing something. So as I mentioned, Elite Connections has been in business for over 25 years. They're based out of California, but they currently have offices located in Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Chicago, San Diego, Newport Beach, Palos Verdes, and the Bay Area, which is a lot. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and specialize in matching high-profile professionals. But Tammi also doubles as a dating and relationship expert and coach. And on top of running a company, Tammi co-runs a nonprofit called Party with a Purpose to benefit children's organizations such as Safe Place for Youth, offering hot food, clothing, and socks to homeless youth in Venice Beach. She is the mother of 2 beautiful children and resides in Thousand Oaks, California. How'd I do?
Yeah, sounds good.
Did I get everything?
In a nutshell.
How was my internet stalking?
That's great.
I think that, your life sounds phenomenal, first of all, but I have so many questions I'm excited to ask you. So Elite Connections is a family-owned business, yes? Who started the business and when did you join the company?
Yeah, so my mom started the business when I was about 13, and funny story, she joined a matchmaker. She brought home some videotapes. I helped pick out her husband. Yeah.
What?
And then they've been together ever since, but she just thought, like, the best guy she's ever met, and, like, that's why she decided to start her company. Was just like, she was single mom, like just working hard. And so she met, her husband, and she's like, what a great way of meeting people. So she started her own company just about 6 months after joining that matchmaker, and she just was like, I want to do this. I want to help people. I want to, help people find the one. And so she has been running this company it's actually been 26 years. So I kind of grew up in the business, and it kind of grabbed me. It was never something that like, oh, I have to be in the family business. I have to work with my mom. I actually went to school. I did hair for a while. I went back to school. I wanted to get into counseling. And then I started working more with the matchmaking agency, and I was meeting clients and matching clients and making successful matches. And that's when I really fell in love with what I do. So then I have been doing it ever since, like about full time the last 20 years.
Holy cow. That's not nothing. Like, if the business is, you joined it pretty early on. So if the business was founded in 94, you joined around 2000?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I kind of always worked with her here and there, but like I did other things, and then I would work with her on the side, and I would come back, and then I had kids, and then I started coming back working more, and I just I always kind of worked with her, but I really fell in love, and like, this is my passion when I started meeting with clients and matching them, and like really hands-on with every person and making friends with my clients. And then you get that call like, Tammi, you found me the one. I want you to come to the wedding. And that's when I was like, I love this. I love helping people. I've always been passionate about helping people and working closely with, my clients. So it was something that I just felt passionate about, that I wanted to do, that I love to do. And I think that's, what everybody should have in their careers, is something that they really love to do. But I think that's, I'm grateful to my mom for creating this company, but we kind of started from one office, and then we've grown to about 13 nationwide and international offices. So, I've kind of worked with her and helped grow this business as well. We're a good team, and we have a large matchmaking team that works with us, and just love what I do.
Well, I mean, kudos to your mom, first of all, for being a woman-owned business at a time where that wasn't the norm, and not just like creating a woman-owned business, but growing it to the place that you are now. That's not nothing. I think that is a huge story. Like, that should be a model for lots of young women who want to pursue their dream. And I imagine, like, I can't even imagine what, like, the dating industry was like in 1994.
Right.
How has it changed? I mean, aside from, like, the biggest obvious change is, like, the transition to digital, but how have you seen the company change from, like, its beginning to where we're at now?
Yeah, it's super funny, because we used to just put together profiles and we would send them through the mail. And
oh my God!
Yeah. It was and it would take forever to make matches, because like, and then you call them, hey, did you get my mail? Did you see her? Do you want to meet her? And it would take like weeks and weeks to set up a match, that now we can like email or text in moments. And like, so yeah, it's changed a lot. It's changed a whole lot from through snail mail to now, everything's online. But that's kind of a difference with our company. We don't have an online database. We're very private with our clients' information. So it's not like a typical online Match.com or whatnot. Like, we as matchmakers are like picking and choosing which matches we think are going to be best, and then we ask each person, are you interested? Are you interested? We get yeses from both people. So it's a really hands-on approach, that we know everyone personally, and then we're making matches. But it's so much easier with the databases that we have for us to be able to search through our thousands of clients, versus we used to sit down. When we sat down with clients, we would show them a book of pictures and flip through pictures, and now everything
binders
is
of women. Like, literally binders of women. That's so great.
Right. And now everything is obviously paper free, and which is great for the environment. Yeah. But just so much easier just to even, like, right now we're meeting people virtually to sign them, which is so great. Like, who, 20 years ago would you ever have thought we'd be doing all of this?
Yeah. That makes me think of, do you know this, there was an Ellen episode, there was this clip that went viral. Someone found, I think it was from like the Love Connection, the TV show, of these three guys, and it was like so analog, and it's hilarious, and it became so viral because people were like, oh my God, this was dating back then. And then Ellen did a follow-up on her show of like, where are they now? And she brought one of the guys back on. Do you know the video I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen it, but that's awesome.
Oh my God, I'm gonna send it to you. This all it makes me think of is like these guys with these like terrible sweaters from the 80s being like, hello, I'm Joe. Just terrible. I can't imagine dating on VHS. It's so awful.
Right. And that's how my mom, when she joined with that other company, it was all video. So she tried to do the same thing, but she was like, it was so hard to have to edit, and like, the quality was horrible. And so she's like, I'm just doing pictures. Like, scrap the video idea. I'm just doing pictures.
Yeah. Well, and also that's interesting because she like sort of implemented herself into the process, right? Like, so as opposed to just being like, hey, here's 800 guys that you could look at their VHSs. Right. She said, I'm going to make the matches and introduce you, which sort of changed the game.
Right. Yeah. She kind of made her own idea of what's going to be a good, way of introducing people.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. So going by the name of your company and the fact that in your description it says you cater to high profile professionals, it sounds like your company is quite selective. How do you guys find your clients, and where do you look for their dates and their matches?
Yeah, most of our clients do come directly to us. They are interested in a matchmaking agency. Maybe they've dated online. It's not for them. They're not, meeting the right types of people that way. So majority of our clients are contacting us. They're researching a matchmaker. They're looking into a company like ours. So I would probably say, 95% of our clients have contacted us directly. But we do get referrals. We ask for referrals sometimes if we're searching for someone. We're kind of always out and about, and I found matches on LinkedIn and social medias and things like that as well, but the percentage is smaller of the clients that we're finding kind of out of our database. But yeah, most of our clients are busy professionals. We really do work for all ages, all walks of life, but somebody that wants to invest in a company like ours is a professional, and they're pretty serious about investing in a company that can search and recruit on their behalf. But then we have different ways too. If somebody came to us and we maybe were searching for someone and we thought it was a good fit, then maybe we would just bring them in, interview them, go through the whole process, and make a complimentary introduction for someone we were searching for. So not always does somebody need to join on like a $15,000 membership. If we were searching for someone, we are working for our clients and searching for our clients. So if somebody came to us and we thought it was a good fit, then we could possibly make a match for that person. So not necessarily do they have to invest in a large membership to work with us.
That makes smart, because you're sort of already limiting who's meeting who, right? As opposed to exposing them to more people.
Right. Like if it were just member to member, our pool would be much smaller.
Right.
So our database consists of full members, membership where maybe their membership has expired, but they're kept in the system, and then members where we might have brought them in to meet someone else, and we're not working full time for them, but they're just part of our database. So it just makes our pool much larger than if it were just, I'm only going to introduce you to other members. The pool would be smaller.
Right. Yeah. Right. So one of your I guess job descriptions is celebrity matchmaker. Could we dish on that a little bit?
Well, we work for high profile and celebrity clients as well. People, they come to us, they really want us to match them outside of who they're normally meeting. They're private. They don't want their information out there on a website, whatnot, so we do have a lot of celebrity clients. Can't really talk about it. There's a few people that I've matched on, shows and things like that. LaToya Jackson, we matched on her show. We were on the Housewives of Orange County matching, Tamara's mom, those types of people that is like kind of out there. I can talk about it, but people that are our clients, we have to be, private and cautious of their information.
That makes a lot of sense. I think you're not going to be on like Tinder if you're, like LeBron James. Like you're just if you're a famous person, you're not going to have a dating profile. I had a match once with Adam Duritz, which is a lead singer of Counting Crows, and I was like, is this real or is this an ad? Was my first thought. I was like, is this a bot? Like, you know what I mean? Like I was like this, but then I was like, oh my God, what would you do if you were single and you were a well-known person? You can't just I don't know. Like, you don't want to be putting yourself out there, because people would just match you without wanting to date you. They would just want to, I don't know, connect for the wrong reasons. So
right, which is also tricky, because I do have like very high profile celebrity clients that they're like, well, I don't want them to know who I am right off the bat, and that's the only reason they want to meet me. So it is tricky to just like, they're very well known. So if you send over a picture, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I know who that is. So we almost have to sometimes make blind dates with a very appropriate match, of course. And like kind of give an overview and not really give details sometimes, like first and last names and things like that, because you don't want them to be only interested because they are a celebrity.
Right. Oh, yeah, that totally makes sense. Like, I think
Right.
about, like, Meghan Markle going on the date with like, Prince Harry for the first time. And,
Right.
you know, like if you told me, yeah, I have a date for you, you're going to go to date with Prince Harry. You know, I mean, like, you would talk yourself out of it before you even met. You couldn't be a genuine person.
Right.
And there's a lot of judgment involved as well. You know, you're like, oh, I know everything about them because they have a public persona.
Right.
And XYZ, I like that, I don't like that. So... oh my gosh, I just think that's like what a cool job. I'm sure it's dramatic and challenging, but it sounds fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of first dates that go awry, but it happens. And, sometimes it takes some time to find the right person, but we do have a pretty good success rate. I think because people are a bit more serious that come to us versus dating a bunch of people online. I think that they really are investing and they're serious about finding the right person. So I feel like they give it more of an effort if they're coming to us versus what I've heard from online. I mean, people have met that way. I'm not totally bashing it.
No, please bash it. That's what I do on this podcast. Like all the time, I talk about how trashy online dating is. Like it's so awful.
I mean, almost all my clients, like either you've heard horror stories or they of just people catfishing, people, asking for things, people being deceitful, lying about who they are, their photos, their bios. They could be, murderers, for God's sakes.
Truly.
So, right. We kind of do all that screening and making sure they look like their photos. They're not using something that's, 10 years old, that they're not lying about who they are or where they live, and they really live in their mom's basement and they say they are some millionaire. We
that would make a great reality show though, by the way.
Right? It happens though.
Plot twist.
It totally happens. I actually had somebody come to me and we don't take on everyone as a client. So like if we found out something on someone, then we wouldn't take them on as a client if we didn't feel they were matchable. Right. But like, criminal histories and things like we detect, and then we're not going to help somebody that has some kind of bad criminal background. And online, they would just not divulge that. And then you don't know who you're meeting or who you have your kids around. So it's pretty scary out there, especially for women. You have to be careful about who you're meeting and do your own research and do your own background. And don't just let anybody into your life because you trust them. I mean, it's a great big world and we got to be careful.
So does that mean that you guys do background checks?
We do.
On your clients?
We do.
Oh.
Yeah.
And people are okay with that? They're comfortable with that?
Yeah, they sign off that we will do background check, divorce history. We check on what they do for a living, education even. So yeah, we kind of do overall background, making sure they are who they say they are, making sure they live where they say they live.
I feel like I would want to employ a matchmaker just for like the screening process.
Right. I have girlfriends that they're like, Tammy, I got his birthday and his name. Do a background on him. I'm like, you got it. Yeah.
Like if I just want to know that the person I'm meeting is not a complete asshole before I meet them.
Right.
Like, that's so valuable. Like that's worth $15,000 a year to me probably.
Right. Definitely.
Oh my God. So this has come up before. I've just been like, I think the general impression from someone outside of the matchmaking industry is that women tend to be in the matchmaking database more, like there's a higher percentage of them there, and men tend to employ matchmakers more. Do you know what the percentage of male to female clients is for Elite? Are you female heavy? Are you skewed in one direction?
Yeah, I mean, actually both men and women do hire us. And I would say more women like 40 and older hire us to help them. versus maybe some younger women, they are not going to invest in a company like ours, so they would just be part of a database. And if we were to have matches for them, then we would, possibly make the matches, but there's no guarantee to be in a database. So that's the difference of working for someone, guaranteeing a certain amount of matches, working for them full time. But I do have 20-something-year-old women that have joined and paid full memberships because they're very serious and they want us to, work for them, send them appropriate matches on a regular basis versus just be put in the system. So, I mean, numbers wise, I'd probably say we probably have a bit more men than women, maybe, 60% paying male clients versus 40% paying female clients. So we work for both. I don't know, how, there are some companies that really just work for men, that we're not that company. We work for both men and women.
That's great. That's great to hear. I think that there should be parity representation, God willing, in the entire world in every industry. I don't know why. I think that's sort of an antiquated patriarchal holdover from a previous system. The idea of finding a woman, an appropriate woman for a man that's finally ready to settle down and get married.
Right.
So I think it's really encouraging to hear that women are taking their lives and their futures into their own hands and coming to you when they're ready and being like, I'm freaking tired of Bumble and help me out here. Help a girl out.
Yeah, definitely.
I appreciate that.
We I don't know how companies don't work for both men and women, but that's their choice. And but yeah, it takes two. You need both. To be able to, and a great match is one paying versus another paying. That's what we always go for, is two full members that are totally invested and totally into it and then interested in each other. Those are always the best matches anyways, because you're invested, you want to meet the right person. If you're reached out to a company like ours, you've invested in it, you really are serious. So those are the best matches that we typically make.
That makes sense. So you guys, because you also call yourself a dating coach and a relationship expert, are you just using these skills for your clients, or are you offering these services to people who aren't necessarily members of Elite?
Typically I, as a matchmaker, am helping coach, guide all my clients throughout the process. We work very closely together. I get feedback on all matches and how it went, so I can kind of help them if they did something wrong or said something wrong, or they talked about their ex, or they were, said something weird or whatever. I can help them relay, and that will help them in their next date or whatnot. So I kind of help my clients throughout the process. We do have some dating coaching through another matchmaker of mine that helps people that are not clients. So she has a weekly Zoom that you can join on for kind of dating coaching, even if you're not a client of ours.
That's super nice.
Yeah, so we can kind of help everyone, even if they're not a client or they're not quite ready and they're like, no, I'm just kind of out of something and I want a little bit more help. So she kind of puts together coaching, and then if you want to join, then we can work together after that.
Yeah, I think, this sort of leads into my next question, because I think we're all here at this place. I was just curious sort of what the number one question or issue or concern was that your clients have for dating in the current climate.
Yeah, it's been tricky. 3 months ago, it was non-existent. Because, people couldn't meet in person. So you were chatting, you were virtually chatting. And I actually did have a few good connections of people really getting to know each other, versus maybe going on a date and then didn't feel the connection and let's move on. and they were really getting to know each other a little deeper and like a friendship and a foundation. So I did have a few people that were chatting, and then they ended up meeting a couple months later in person. They went for a walk or a hike, and then, you know, really giving it a shot, and they're still chatting. So I feel like there was some positives and negatives with the whole, you know, COVID and lockdown. And now things are progressing, you know, the outdoor restaurants are, you know, opening, and people are like kind of sick of being stuck at home, so they're more my phone's kind of ringing off the hook, like, I don't want to do this again alone, like, help me find someone. So
true story. Yeah,
so I mean, people now are like, I'm ready. I don't think anyone is like, no. And even if they don't want to go to like a super crowded beach or restaurant or whatever, then they'll do something quieter, a little picnic or a little walk or whatnot. But everyone is like, get me out, help me meet someone, especially because like we're still not really getting out very often. And when we are, we're all masked up, and so it's hard to meet someone, and so I you know, my phone's ringing off the hook. All my clients are like, I'm ready, and then new clients as well. So I mean, I think we're heading in the right direction. Nobody wants to be stuck alone again, so like, help me find the one that I can be stuck with if this happens again.
I think that's so interesting. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of us, including myself, have felt like some very heavy loneliness during quarantine, which has driven us to pick up the apps, plural, in moments of boredom, or thinking, oh man, why am I by myself? Like, why don't I have a partner? Like, it's made us really reevaluate our lives. But at the same time, like, every time I had that thought, I would counter it by thinking, do you know, if I was stuck here with a person, however, I'm not sure that would be a better solution. You know, like, you can't guarantee that just because you're not alone doesn't mean you're happy, or
100%. Yeah.
Or like, it's not a buffer. It's not a guarantee that like, if we get stuck in lockdown again, like, it'll go better. I heard horrible stories of people fighting and like, not needing needing to be in separate rooms all day. It's just like a lot of time together.
Yes. 100%. It was rough on a lot of people and a lot of relationships. So you either grow through it or you grow apart. You know, it happens. But you know, I think it does make you reevaluate. Just kind of, life is short, and I'm gonna do what I can to try to find my person, not just any person, but like the person that I want to be with, if that's what you want. It may not be. You might be totally happy with yourself and your friends and your family, and you don't need someone, and that's totally fine too. Or, you know, you date until you find that right person. I mean, desperation is, you know, a huge turnoff for anyone that you're, you know, out meeting somebody. So, you know, you don't want to be desperate to find somebody. You want just to be happy by yourself, and just that person would just be icing on the cake.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
It's like you do this for a living. You're a pro. So I have some like listener questions.
Yeah.
Would you be open to answering them?
Of course.
I just polled some people in a really non-personal way, just on social media, just to be like, hey, if you could ask some questions of a dating coach, what would you want to know?
Yeah.
So one of the questions that I think this one's a little heavy. It's a little heavy maybe to start off with, but especially because you have locations in other countries, I thought you might be the right person to answer this.
Okay.
Do you feel as if the dating culture in the U.S. is worse than in other cities?
Maybe harder. You know, some of the bigger cities, I just hear people are go, not stopping to chat with people. You know, just you're in your routine, and versus some other countries are maybe a little bit more laid back, and they're more social, and they have more time for themselves. I mean, you know, Europe, like everybody stops and has like a 2-hour, lunch in the middle of the day,
Right.
and they enjoy, and they go to coffee shops, and they're outdoors, and even though the weather's like usually like crap, but like everybody's like enjoying themselves and like going to lunch and going to happy hours, and they're just like stopping to smell the flowers a little bit. So I think in the States it's a little routine. And that's why it's hard to meet someone. You get stuck in your routine. We all work really, really hard, long hours. And other, countries are a little bit more like, let's enjoy life and work less.
I agree. And I think that definitely like one of the values in America, I mean, this is definitely what the country was founded on, is success is merit-based, right? So success comes to those that put in the time, that put in the work and work hard. So, how many times have you heard people brag about the fact that they put in a 60-hour work week, or that they got 4 hours of sleep? That's my least favorite, when people are like, oh, I only got 3 hours of sleep last night. I'm like, that's not something to celebrate. That's horrible.
That's horrible for your health, right?
It's like, you're like, look how strong I am. I'm here at work. I sacrificed my well-being so I could be here at work.
Right.
So, agreed. Yeah. If you're putting a value on work, over your health, your friendships, your social connections, dating, it's imbalanced. I think you're absolutely right.
Right. And that's why you got to make the time. You don't know how many times I hear, well, I'm so busy with work, I don't have time to meet this person for 2 weeks. And I'm like, you are going to be single forever if you don't make more of an effort. If you don't meet this person and show that you're interested and show that you can give them some time and attention, especially in the beginning. So it's all about priorities and making that effort and that time to focus, if that's what you want. Like, focus your energy on that person, or getting to know that person, or finding that person. It's all up to you.
Especially because if you don't have time for dating, like, relationships take there's such a time suck. Like, people don't realize, like, if you don't have time to date, you do not have time for a relationship. I hate to tell you.
Right. And it's hard. You have a busy job. You have a very committed job. You have children. The younger they are, the harder it is, because you're running them around and whatnot. Yeah, it's hard. How do you find the time? But you can. Or, if it's a priority, then you'll make it. Yeah,
absolutely. This is also a little, I'm just going to hit you with all the hard stuff.
Yeah.
This woman wanted to know, what is more important? This is super subjective, but let's just see what you have to say. What is more important, truth or love?
Oh,
I know that's like an intense question, and it implies a lot, because it sounds like there's a huge story to like, why can't you have the two at the same time? But I also hear the underscore for me is like, do you have to sacrifice one for the other, I guess?
I mean, I think you need both for sure. But if I were to weigh them, I would probably, say a true love is very important, but I think being truthful and trusting someone is huge. If you don't have that, then you can't have a solid, relationship. But 100% investing love, genuine love is gonna take you through the hard times. But I think with that, trust comes. And trust will be there if you fully, truly love someone and they feel the same.
Yeah. That was I know that's like intense, but that's also like, I appreciate the depth of that question. I'm sure you hit very intense moments with your clients. Like, we're hearing from you a lot of positivity and a lot of success stories, but I imagine that the flip side of that coin is ever present, of people that are like, this isn't working. I've invested all this money and this time and it's still not working. Like, and the self-loathing and the implication of not being able to find someone is something that I think a lot of single people grapple with.
Right. And that's why I love to be the fly on the wall and hear both sides of the story, because it's like a friend introducing two friends. They may get two sides of the story, and then you could come together and maybe help them out, or build a bridge, or let somebody know. Like I had a male client, and he was like really wanting to get married, have a child, like almost desperate about it. And he would go on his dates, and he would be like, the first thing that comes out of his mouth, so do you want to be married? Do you want to have children? How many children do you want? Like, I'm the last child that hasn't had a child or been married. And like, my mom is bugging me, when am I going to find someone? When am I going to find someone? And like, you're turning people off. And like, I was grateful that I heard these stories, that I was able to help him. And like, he actually went on a date not long ago, and he was on his best behavior, and he's still with that person because I think he didn't ruin it on the first date or scare her away. So sometimes it's so nice to be able to be that fly on the wall and help people where they wouldn't have normally gotten that help. So it's I'm grateful to be able to help advise, be there for people, and I love to listen and what happened, and help them throughout this process, because I think everybody needs it. Even if you're the best dater in the world, I mean, things happen, and like, you're talking too much about your drama, or your family drama, or this or that. I mean, nobody's perfect, and like, sometimes it just helps to be that friendly ear that can help someone. I had another client that they were like, okay, we went on a third date, and he's like, he won't touch me, he's scared to hug me, he's like, and she would like to feel a little bit more comfortable. So then I relayed to him, like, maybe if you're comfortable when you go to the movies, like, put your arm around her or give her a hug when you leave. I think that would be nice. And so I just helped push him, because he wasn't quite comfortable. He didn't know her thoughts. I mean, we're not talking about it, but I was able to let him know, yeah, she would be comfortable with a hug, or kiss on the cheek or something like that.
You're like the little angel on everyone's shoulder. You're like, psst, maybe
right.
They like this. Maybe you should try this. I want that.
Totally.
Maybe you should do something else. Here's another intense question, but you're doing great.
Okay.
How do you become a priority, not an option?
I think it's just timing and the right person, and not being just let them come to you. Don't be too intense. Just let them come to you. Let them know that you're interested, but don't be too demanding or needy. Really let you know that they're interested. They want to see you. They're making an effort.
So you're saying give space to let people So that's sort of contradictory. If you want to if you want to be a priority to someone, you're saying give them space to.
Well, let them come to you.
Let them come to that decision on their own.
Yeah, let them come to you. Don't be too pushy with like, I want to see you every week. Like, you want them to make you a priority as well.
Right.
So many
But they have to come to it in their own time.
Right. You can't push somebody into it. They need to want to be with you and make you a priority and make the effort with you. So you don't want to be too pushy, like, I need to talk to you every day. I need to, see you every 3 days. You want them to really make an effort. But like, if you are hearing from them and it's not quite often, but you've been dating for a few months, you do want to let them know, I would love to talk to you, every once in a while. And I love when I hear from you, and I love to see you on the weekends. Like, let them know what you want also, because they might not realize that you want to see them that often. But in the beginning, it's a little tricky, because you can't be too needy in the beginning as well. I think
that question also stems from the fact that, like, especially for those of us on apps, like, because it seems, going back to our binders of women, that there is a bottomless list or pit of people, especially in New York City or some of these bigger cities that you guys are represented in. So, the minute that we have a little bit of, this isn't working, or discomfort or whatever, we realize, well, there's so many more, I'm going to move on. So with this sense of like, I have so many options, I don't have to settle for anything I don't like, how does one make themselves become a priority or stand out amongst this this mass indecision? Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that I think is just, with the right person, you'll feel a connection and they'll feel it too. And if somebody's dating a bunch of different people, do you want to be with that person? And if you're dating a bunch of different people, then maybe your priorities are elsewhere too. So if you really like someone, then you would kind of invest your time and energy into that one person and getting to know that person, and vice versa. I mean, with our company, we only make one match at a time. We don't make multiple matches with multiple people. We really want somebody to give their all to one person, really see how it's going, if it's going in the right direction. And, we would then make a match if it wasn't going in the right direction, another match. So that's kind of our motto, is like, invest yourself fully into that person. How can you really get to know 3 different people at one time or give them your attention or your focus or your energy if it's all in different directions?
Absolutely. And that's like, again, like we're talking mostly about the app culture, which is mainly where I'm based. I don't have a personal matchmaker, even though I'd love one. But, you are having multiple, or you're attempting to have multiple conversations, probably across multiple apps simultaneously. So, and I think that I absolutely agree with you. I think that actually works against all of us.
Well, conversations are one thing because sometimes they don't pan out. You don't meet the person, or when you do meet the person, it's not a connection. But I guess I was meaning like really meeting with someone and connecting with them and then dating multiple people at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Well, if I'm like, no, I don't want to have too many conversations. Like, I'm definitely like, I don't want to have too many dates at the same time. I'm not going to be dating a different person every day of the week. That's not, I don't see how that could help anybody. You just get distracted. Like, weren't you the person that liked the color purple? Oh, sorry, That was yesterday.
Where are my notes? Yeah.
I know, where's my shorthand? So I know that you've done a lot of other podcasts. You've appeared in a lot of publications about dating. And I've written some as well, and I'm sure you get asked this all the time. So I'm going to flip the question. Instead of asking you for your top 3 like pieces of advice or tips for improving your dating game, I want to hear your top 3 no's. Like your top 3 don'ts. Like, don't do these.
Yeah. Let's see. Don't be too demanding. You have your expectations too high on someone that you're meeting. Sometimes you like, oh, I didn't hear from him today. I didn't hear from him the next day. Like, in the beginning, don't have too high of expectations because his expectations are different than your expectations. So just like go with the flow, be chill, don't go into it like you're going to marry this person, like enjoy their company, make a friend. That would be one. Don't be Debbie Downer. Nobody wants to hang out with the drama girl, the one that's always drama or negative, or talking about like how crummy her life is or what she's going through, or he. Nobody even wants a friend like that. Nobody wants to hang out with a friend that's like, oh, pity party, poor me, this and that. Like, you want to be with somebody positive and happy and upbeat and life is good. So that would be something else. Don't pigeonhole yourself in height and look and what he does or what they do for a living. Like, be open-minded. Don't be too narrow in what you're looking for. the pool is small if you are very narrow-minded. So just be open with that person and give somebody a shot. Somebody's reaching out and they won't stop, asking you out. Like, give them a shot. Like, people grow on you. Somebody may just be the one. I mean, actually, I've seen so many times they're like, not really feeling it. I'm like, but he really was interested in seeing you again. I say, give it a second shot. How well did you get to know him over that 1 hour dinner date? And they go out again, and she's like, you're right. He really, really opened up the next time I saw him. He was nervous, and maybe he wasn't quite himself on the first date. So just be open to different possibilities, be open to that friend's introduction, be open to trying something different, trying something new.
Those were super solid. Thank you. That was like, what? I love that. I absolutely, all of them. I was like shaking my head over here. I'm like, yes. Those are so great. I just try to live my life in general by those standards. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes.
I wanted to just ask, just to wrap this up, if you would be open to sharing your favorite success story with us. You can obviously leave personal details out, but if there's one story that really moved you or it really felt like you've changed someone's life for the better, I would love if you'd share it with us.
Yeah, so actually one of my first matches, they were in 2 different cities. I had to kind of push her into meeting him. She was in LA, he was in Vegas, but he could live anywhere. And I kind of knew right off the bat, I knew them both, and I knew they would be perfect together. He really wanted a down-to-earth girl, maybe not originally from LA, because he's kind of salt of the earth, kind of farmer guy, horse guy, not typical LA raised. He was like, I would love somebody that maybe wasn't born and raised in LA, and they had maybe they were born on, in a small town somewhere outside of the city, that kind of thing. So I knew it was a good match. I had to kind of talk her in it. She's like, Vegas? I don't know about Vegas. And I'm like, but he's in LA. He would totally relocate for the right person. And I think you should meet him. He's in LA this next weekend. And just meet him. I know you're going to really like him. And she saw his information. She saw his photos. She's like, he seems great, but Vegas. And I'm like, you just do it. So they met, and right after, I caught a call from both of them. They're like, oh my God, she was great. I'm going to marry this girl. And she called me and she's like, he was so great. I really, really felt a good connection, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. So they saw each other, weekly for the next year, and they ended up together. They actually live in both places now, back and forth. His business is in Vegas and hers is in LA, but they ended up getting married and having babies, and they're totally happy. But it was something that I had to push on them, and I knew it was going to be a good match, and it was. So that's one of my favorites.
That's so rewarding and satisfying.
It is. Oh. That's why I do this. It really is. It really is amazing to help 2 people that you know are going to be good together, and then they are so grateful and for forever. I still get pictures of them and their kids years and years later. Yeah, it's very sweet.
You're like the gynecologist. When you go to the gynecologist's office, all the babies are on the wall, and they're like, you helped deliver this baby.
Totally. You get the Christmas photos. Totally.
Oh, Tammi, I want you to match me up so badly.
Yeah, where are you? Where do you live?
I'm in New York City.
Oh, I got a lot of good New Yorkers. Let's do this.
Bring it. As long as they're okay if I talk about them discreetly on the podcast.
Totally, right? Yes, that'd be fun. I'm gonna match you. We'll talk about it on the next podcast.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. A follow-up episode.
Yes.
Jeanette's been on 80 dates. Please change my life. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna totally match you. We'll connect, and I'll get all your details, and I'll totally make you good matches.
Oh my God, I'm so in. Stay tuned, you guys, because you don't want to miss. I'm like the next episode of whatever reality show we're creating.
Yes.
I love it. I love it so much. Tammi, thank you so much for joining me on hashtag single and just letting us into your world and letting us know about matchmaking. I don't think it's a thing that a lot of people know about, especially single people, that this is like, you don't have to spend your life on the stupid apps, and you can seek help if you need to, and then there's a lot of success around matchmaking too. So I just appreciate you sharing your knowledge and your heart with us. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Rad. Well, if people want to, just to wrap up, if people want to work with you or maybe just to become a non-paying member, how can they do that?
Yeah, reach out to us, allconnections.com. There's more information. You can fill out a profile, all of that. It just comes directly to us. We don't have an online database, but you can contact us that way. My email is tammi@allconnections.com. My number is 800-923-4200.
I love that. Anything else? Do you want
That's
Instagram
it.
tags? Do you want LinkedIn?
Tammi Pickle, Elite Connections. We're everywhere. Just find us.
Love it. Very cool. Thank you again, Tammi. I look forward to reconnecting with you and seeing what can happen, and maybe you can help some other hashtag single listeners along the way.
Yay. Thank you, Jeanette.
Cool. All right. That's it for this episode of hashtag single, you guys. We will catch you next time.